Hello to all my sales professionals. This is your coach, Joe Pinero, bringing you the tip of the day, something to think about, always taking our presentation to the next level, sharpening our skills, communication, getting better every day. Remember, the minute that you stop learning, you start forgetting. So we don't want to do that. We want to always continue our progress. Well, the other day I was talking about the four type of objections, and just to remind you of what the four type of objections. Remember, you got the excuses, you got the distractions, you got the conditions, and of course the true objection, which is related to money. That's when you know that you brought it down to the money with the right presentation. Now I want to talk about objections because I want to kind of give you some ideas on how to handle the objections. Now remember, a lot of these objections, the reason they come up is because, remember, there's 5 reasons why people don't buy. Remember, no trust, no need, no help, no hurry, and of course no money. But you will never get to the money truly if you have not covered these other 4, right? If the people don't trust you, the company, yourself, right, the system, what you're showing or presenting or your program, I mean, you're gonna have some excuses at the end and a lot of be-backs. Remember, if you don't create the need, the problem, right, getting the people to want, what you offer, right? So you got to make them want it. Remember, people don't buy products, they buy solutions to the problem. So the problem better be big. It's your job to take it to a whole new level and make them need it. Once the need is established, very quickly they're going to ask you for help. Even if they don't say it, they expect that you're going to give them the medicine. No one takes medicine if they don't feel they're sick. Okay, these are the little things that I like to share with you. And the most important part, which is at the back, is the urgency, right? Making people to act and take action right now, today and now. All of it, all these 4 things need to be there. So if you review your objections that you're getting and you make a list of them, you're going to see that most of them are related to one of these 4 things, right? So again, we want to do our presentation in a proper sequence in a way that at the end what's left is what? The dollars and cents. Mr. Salesman, help me get involved. I want this. How can I find the money? What are the terms and conditions? Can you do a down payment? Can you get your financing? And people, when they want it that bad and they want to solve that problem, remember, they're going to find a way to get the money. However, if you still get an objection at the end, a reaction, right, something that stayed behind, there's a way that you can handle it. Now, remember, there's no new words in sales, so we don't invent anything. It's just perceptions, right, how we see it, angles. But the thing is that I love when a salesman says to me, Joe, listen, I heard that before. Well, I don't want you to hear it. I want you to use it. Take action. When you learn something, put it in practice. A program is better than no program, right? So you got to have a strategy is better than no strategy. Knowledge is not power. Knowledge is potential power. If you put a little, action to it, then that knowledge becomes something, helps you out, right? But if you know it and you don't use it, then shame on us, right? But here we go. So if somebody says, listen, I got to think about it, I have mentioned, right, think about it can be a lot of things. It can be I'm confused, too much information. We talked about that, right? It could be the lack of trust, right? I'm not sure if I need to take action right now. That's part of your presentation. However, when you show prices, right, and the price is high and the value was not there, right, you didn't create enough value, people might say, I want to think about it. That's another reason. However, it's for you to come back and say, well, Mr. Prospect, Mr. Customer, I appreciate you being sincere with me. If exactly what part of what I explained you need to think about. For example, is it the program? Is it, the product that I'm showing you? Is it our company or is it myself? I love to do that because then, they say, no, it's not you, right? You did great, right? So now I have a chance to kind of isolate a little bit more, right? What exactly happened, or at least as close as possible, okay? They might be, playing you, but let's say they're not. So now you have an idea. Maybe you didn't show enough value. Maybe they didn't understand something, and that gives you another shot to get back in the sales process, correct something, and eliminate the think about it, because they're not saying is money. Now remember, strangers don't want to tell another stranger they don't have the money, unless you have the trust and you have all of that, right? We're talking about those customers that are gonna be a little bit reserved with their, objection. However, another way that you can handle an objection is, right, this famous thing in the, many years ago, the feel, felt, and found, right? Listen, I know how you feel. Sympathize with the customer. Don't argue with the customer. Sympathize with them. That's what they have chose to say to you, because maybe we were not as effective, but that's okay. The idea is to handle the objection, bring the customer back in track, and put them in the sales process to get them down to what? The money. Okay, that's, remember, we're not going to fight with them. And what does you think about? Right? That's not what, we are professional salespeople. So listen, Mr. Customer, I know how you feel. Other people have the same, have the same feelings. So that, don't make them feel like they're the only one feeling these objections, right? So when I say, listen, but let me tell you what they found. See, this has happened and you have handled that. You have experience handling this, and it's not weird that they're feeling that at this moment. So sympathize with the people, show a third party, right? Third party stories are unbelievable, but you got to make sure you have them correctly, right? So we will talk about that in another moment. However, let me show you what they did. See, now you're not saying what you need to do. You're saying what they found, right? This is what happened to them. And that's when you create a story of what happened to them. Listen, pretty much what happens to them is that they were not totally there with the company because maybe there was some information missing. However, when they saw that the company was effective, when they saw that the company was credible, when they saw that really, this kind of enhances their people's lives, guess what? They decided that it was better for them, what? To go through it than not go through it, because they were going to see how the product was going to benefit them. And I'm being kind of general because it could be cars, it can be the timeshares, that I love timeshare. It could be a house, it could be credibility about something. They have fear. The customer has fear to make the wrong choice. It's your job to make them at ease through those 4 things, right? Trust, need, help, and hurry. You've got to do that. Bring it down to the money. But if you didn't, this way is more, they sympathize, you sympathize with them, is very nonchalant, but you're going to what? Handle it and get to the point. Does that make any sense? So if we're going to do feel, felt, and found, right, it's better than say, well, listen, what is to think about? I mean, I told you everything that you need to know, and what? What, you're afraid? What? You have to talk to somebody? You know what I mean? See, when the salesman comes that way, it's confrontational and it's anti-professional. I mean, that's not the right way. We are professional salespeople. So again, Mr. Customer, appreciate you sharing that with me because, I know how you feel. Listen, other people have felt the same way. But let me tell you what they find out. See? Now, let me give you a little something here that I'm going to get out of, the sequence here for a second. But people don't change their mind. You know what I mean? I mean, you have been in sales situation where they say no, 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 and all of a sudden they say yes. Well, let me tell you, do you know why that happens? Okay, and this is one reason, there might be thousands, but I know this for a fact. People don't change their mind. What people do is they make a new decision based on new information. So if you say, listen, you're going to spend the money anyways, and that's your rebuttal, and they say, well, listen, but I don't want to buy anything, or not today, or any of those excuses, why are you going to repeat the same thing again? You already know what you're going to get with that particular statement, right? You're going to spend the money anyways. See, what you need to do is understand it, go to your head and say, okay, I missed a few things. This is my shot to shine, because objections is part of the negotiation. They're not saying no. See? The problem is when they say no and you push the no and get to hell no, then you're in trouble. But they're saying no, you're not convinced me yet. You haven't yet. There's something missing. And if you're smart and you have a proper presentation and you say, okay, I missed this part, let me come back. But let me come back with style and finesse, right? Showmanship. You know what I mean? Understanding my clients because they feel that they care, and I do. Remember, transmission of emotion. They know that I'm trying my best, it's just that something is missing. So what we do is we take that objection, whatever it is, right? We put it in the Feel, Felt, Found program, right? Or ask them. I gave you 2 systems, right? Listen, what part of the program I missed? What part you don't see that it will benefit you? You know what I mean? Or if you're into pricing, right? Listen, is this too much money? But if you're into too much money, right? You didn't create it too much value. At least you're talking about money. You're not talking about the product, or you're not talking about the company, or you're not talking about you, which a lot of times they will not tell you, but you need to be smart enough to know. But if you follow in your process correctly, right? Mr. John and Mary, listen, I appreciate you sharing that with me. I know exactly how you feel. Other people have same way. The other day I had a family that were in your same situation. And this is what they found, really, when they researched everything. The reason at the end they were not wanting to buy, it was actually the dollars and cents. However, there was a few things that they needed to clarify. So let me ask a question. What part of the program right now is getting you a little bit confused, or you're not totally understanding? Is it the program? Is it the company? Is it me? Is it the money? Right? Because a lot of people don't want to tell you. So you have to know how to put that based on your product, based on where it comes. Remember, if it comes, if it comes in the first part of your presentation, don't argue with it. Because, a lot of times those excuses will disappear. But if it comes in the selling process, in the part that you are putting pressure, because creating urgency is putting pressure, right? You have explained all of these things. You have got all this feedback. Now you are assuming a sale, but they're not ready, and you don't know. You just went with it. They're going to let you know with an objection. And the way you handle an objection, okay, correctly, with the right process, with a system, can ensure you or give a bigger odds to get closer to bringing it down to the money. And of course, once you handle the objection, go for the order. Well, now that we got that clear, now that we got that out of the way, because I understand that it's a lot of information, can we say that you see this product working for you, okay, the way that you want it to work? Do you think that we are the right company for you, right? I'm coming back to some of this stuff, all right, depending what the situation is. So, listen, so let me ask a question. If we can make the numbers work right, am I looking at my newest owners right now? Am I looking at my newest client right now? Am I looking at my newest prospect right here, right now, today? See, ask the question. But you have to make sure that all these steps are been taken. And when you handle that objections is just a roadmap. It tells you where you're at also. You have to be smart when to, right? When is important. Timing is 90% of genius, but objections are good. Objection is not the end. It should be what? The beginning of the negotiation, right? If you're driving, going somewhere to work, and all of a sudden they close the street, do you stop and say, okay, my God, here we go. If the street is closed, let me turn on the car and let me just sit there because I have nothing to do. I cannot handle anything else. No, you do a reverse. You find another way to get to destination. And you have to, as a professional salesman, you need to know different ways to handle objections. Okay? So again, don't be confrontational. This is not about that. We are salespeople. They're telling you, I'm not totally sold yet. You follow me? If you get it to the money, it's your job as a salesman to have different ways to get them to sign on the dotted line today and now. Remember, our presentation comes down to eliminate everything. The better the presentation is, less objections you're going to have, less excuses you're going to have. But if you get them, you need to know how to handle the objection in a professional way that maintains the client in the pace of buying from you whatever it is today and now. If you're in real estate and you get some objections because you didn't do a presentation, then, shame on you. You should have a good presentation with the 4 reasons, right? No trust, no need. You got to cover trust, need help, and the urgency, right? You got to cover that. But if you're just shooting off the hip, you're going to have a lot of problems at the end, and it's going to become, you against them. No. Remember, selling is something we do for somebody and with somebody. So objections should be welcome. When I got objections in the timeshare industry, we get a lot of objections. In the housing industry, in the car industry, doesn't matter what you sell, there's always going to be objections, and they're all related. If you look at the objections in one field and another field, they're pretty much related. And you can use the same system in either one. Now remember, always listen to the full objection. Don't interrupt the customer, right? Because you already know what they're going to say, right? No? Count 3 seconds. I got a 3-second rule. Right? Boom, boom, boom. And then I go with my system. I evaluate what I'm going to do so that way it makes sense based on my situation. Again, handling objection is a great way for you to know what you're missing. So the next time you do a presentation, hey, I've been lacking on my trust. I'm not doing enough credibility. Remember, show them, demonstrate, not talk. You do a lot of this, They're going to forget, but seeing is believing. So all these things together, there's not one thing in sales. It's no magic anything. There's a series of steps that you need to do because the customer needs to hear it so he can fulfill those needs that they have. Once you bring them down and you demonstrate that your product is good, because it is good, remember, we got to believe in the product, then if there's an objection left, it's an easy thing to do, right? We got to confront them in a positive, cordial, sympathetic, keeping them in the sales process, right? You're not going to go, well, we are professional salespeople. We have the knowledge. That's why we listen to these tapes and we study it. So we know how the humans need to hear it so we can continue in the sales process. Well, my sales professionals, I hope that this can help you out a little bit in looking at objection in a newer perspective. Objections are good. Welcome the objections. By the way, objections is the opportunity to show how professional you are under pressure. We want that fire. We want that negotiation. Stay there. Stay put. Because you have a strategy in place that you know how to handle it. Don't run. Okay? So my sales professional, this is your coach, Joe Pinero, bringing you the tip of the day. Remember, go for it with passion. No regrets. Give it all you got. Continue education in sales. We love the world of sales. God bless you. Find me in Facebook. Send me questions, comments, good, bad, whatever you want to do, because that's what we do, keeping our game on point. God bless you. Joe Pinero. Success to everyone.